All right, I'm here for the, we got a new tournament that's been announced, the Fuji Open tournament. And I do not have all of these holes recorded. I have all of the Sakura Hills, I believe I have the Sakura Hills holes recorded. But these, I'm going to pronounce this name wrong every single time. The Kakashi Bay holes, these holes haven't been in a tournament in over a year, and I was working in Virginia last year when this tournament came out, and so I didn't have time to record. So I'm going to walk through all the holes. I haven't gone and looked through any of my notes from those past tournaments that they're in just to kind of clean them up. I just wanted to kind of go look at the holes, so see what we got going. So hole number 1 in the Fuji Open is going to be hole number 8. Get your notes out so you can go look at these holes. It's hole number 8 at Sakura Hills. And this is definitely going to be a long iron shot, whatever's the most accurate one in your bag. This hole plays, this is actually a pretty decent shot at hole-in-one here. They redesigned some of these original holes that were in here, and the greens play just slightly different. And this green plays slightly different than it used to. It was just in a tournament not too long ago. Which one was it? The Easter Open tournament. So if you got notes from the Eastern Open tournament, this would be a that would be where you could get your freshest notes. So we start off the tournament with a par 3. It's always good when we start off with par 4s. They usually make it so that it's super important that you have to get an eagle like right off that bat. So starting off with a par 3, at least you can try and get a little bit of rhythm going. So hole number 2 in the Fuji Cup is going to be Sakura Hills hole 7. So let's go back over here to Sakura Hills. Make sure I got that right. So hole number 2 is a par 4. This par 4 right here, there's a lot of different ways to play this. If you're an expert, you can do a max overpower shot, and you can try and come at it straight in between this tree and this tree, and you can come this direction. I've tried this shot with a power 5 ball and rookie several times, and I haven't been able to get past the rough. I end up in the rough over here. And you got a shot from over there in the rough, but the goal would be to get out here on the fairway or to get up here on the green on this backside. It's a real little narrow area there, but people in expert can get this done because they have enough wind. In rookie and pro, it may not be possible. My typical shot here is to bring a QB, about 2 backspin, and I want to be right where that black dot is. Here's the line. Here's the opening to get onto the green in this tree right here. And I want to be on that side of that, but I want to be right on that side of it. And I'm trying to open up this mouth up here when I come up onto the green. Now, here's the deal on this hole. Here's where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get right past the tip of this tree out in here so that I can open this up. My red line with a katana is going to be right there with my hornet. So I play day to day with a hornet, and so when I come on this hole, I don't usually engage this hill. A lot of people think, oh, you got to bring backspin clubs on this. I do very well with my hornet here by starting off at the bottom of the hill down here, and actually that first bounce hits the ground, and by the time it hits the ground, the second bounce, I'm at the top of the hill. And so I never engage the hill, and it just rolls right towards the cup. You'll see a lot of people come to this hole and they'll want to play with their thorn. Well, let's do the math. If I'm here with a katana and my red line's there, if I had a titan, my red line would be about right there. So the only way you're going to be able to get up here so that you can engage your thorn's backspin if you're using a thorn is you're going to have to get farther than this black dot. You're going to have to get around the corner a little bit and pick up some distance so that you can start off on the green. And you can help yourself out here if you want to do that shot by using a 3-power ball, because if you bring a 2-power ball, you'll have to get way down into that hole. I'm not really concerned about getting way down in here and trying to get on the green so that I can backspin it in. I like the shot from down here, and I did post a video in this playlist. I did post a video for this hole of the shot that I'm going to take on it. But I think that overall for safety, the one that I take is actually pretty pretty safe because you're not engaging any of the hillside. You're not engaging any of that stuff. This is a very tough hole to eagle. I mean, most people are going to get birdie on this hole, but there's going to be a whole bunch more people that get par than get eagle. So coming here and giving yourself a really good solid look at eagle every time and not taking a lot of risks is going to put you ahead of a bunch of people. Sorry about that. All right, hole number 3 is from the Kakashi Bay, and it is hole 6, par 5. Hole 6, par 5. All right, this hole right here. There's 3 ways to play this actually. You can do a max overpower hook shot on this, and your goal is to try and end up out here where you have a very short iron or your wedge to get on. And this shot is very tricky. It's not a full topspin max overpower hook. It's very tricky to get out into that spot. But I will be practicing that. It's been a long time since I've played this hole, but I will be practicing that shot. I've never really been a fan of the white line. For me, if I'm not doing the max overpower hook, I'm going to do the black line. And when you're coming into this area, it does carry, if I remember correctly, it does carry a little bit farther down into this hole. So always make sure that you're at least a couple rings off of any transitional surface to give yourself that little bit of flexibility for any kind of movement down in there. Now, when you're coming to the green on this, there are several ways that you can come at it. You can bring a big backspin club and you can try and backspin it. It does have a little bit of a backboard, and you can try and backspin it down to the hole. The other way that you can do it, which is probably the best, in my opinion, like the best way of trying to get the albie, and I believe this is par 5, yes, the best way to try and get the albie is to do a rough bump down here. So when you're on the green, you see how the green comes in, you're going to do a rough bump and this try and roll straight up to the hole. And it's a pretty safe shot here, and I don't think that there's any special wind adjustments we have to do when we're doing this rough bump. So it's just about, if you can make good wind adjustments, then the rough bump is definitely probably going to be the shot for you. All right, that was hole number 6, which is hole number 3 of the Fuji Open. Hole number 4 of the Fuji Open is also going to be at Kakashi Bay, and it's going to be hole 1, and it's a par 4. And this hole here also has 3 ways that you can play it. There is a max overpower hook shot that you can do on this hole as well. I've always played the black line. I like the black line better. You can get yourself, if you can get yourself out into this area and have a nice short iron shot to try and come in to make eagle. This is once again a very low percentage eagle hole, but you can get an eagle on this hole. And so we definitely want to get ourselves out here as far as we can. I can't remember what our landing spot looks like down here, whether we can get past this sand and we're not going to be able to practice these holes in rookie this week, so we're going to have to wait till the Monday qualifying run and go into them. And so I'm not sure whether we can get over. I don't think we can. I think we actually are hitting on this side, but we might be able to get over. I just can't remember in rookie. If we can't get over, the trick is to move your ball to the left. So let's say your red line was here, and I could be totally wrong and the red line's up here, but if you can't get over this sand, what you want to do is move your ball further to the left so that you can, if you're doing a max overpower shot, move yourself way over here. So if your red line was here, you move yourself to the left until you get the biggest patch of fairway that you can hit a great to the left or the right, and max curl to try and bring yourself back out. Big side spin ball. If you've got a higher level, if you have an Apocalypse and you play with it probably level 4 or higher, this might be a good spot to bring out your Apocalypse just because it has more curl. You can bring it back down in here better. All right, that was hole number 4 of the Fuji Open. Hole number 5 is going to be in the same tour, and it's going to be hole 3, and it's a par 5. Is that right? No, hole 5, excuse me. It's par 3. Okay, this par 3 right here. This is a wood shot. Wood. the black line, I would bring whatever wood has best ball guide. And the white shot is backspin. So if you've got a Guardian and it's high enough level, you have to try it, and you're going to have to bring out a big enough ball to get you to be able to go forward far enough that you can start off on the green or on that fringe. You'll be able to backspin it right towards the hole and avoid all of this. Now you can see when you're down here into this, these landing zones that are down low, like right here is where the black dot's at. You're on a hillside that faces down like this. And so when you're on, anytime you're on those hillsides and you're here and you hit it perfect, it's going to go where you wanted it to go. But if you hit it to the right, it's going to be lower down on this hillside and it's going to go to the right. If you hit it to the left, it's going to be higher up on the hillside and it's going to go to the left. And so it's very tricky when you're hitting onto hillsides like that. These faces, they're so dang steep that you can end up, you lined everything up, but you hit it just a little bit great to the left or the right, and it went way out of way. So these shots out here are very tricky. This is a very tricky par 3. And so I'm going to try and eliminate all of this stuff by starting right off on the green. So I'm going to bring whatever size ball it's going to take in order for my Guardian to be able to reach the green, and that's where I'm going to go from. If I remember correctly, there is a wind adjustment that we'll have to make on them on this shot. So as the qualifying rounds come along, I'll go back and look at my notes for the tournaments that all of these have been in from the very beginning, and go through and tabulate my notes and see what they say for the first qualifying round. I may be able to get that done this week and post another walkthrough with some cleaner notes once I get started. All right, that was hole number 5. So that was hole number 5 of the Fuji Cup. So hole number 6 of the Fuji Cup is going to be Sakura Hills, and it's going to be hole 6. And it's a par 5. All right. This hole right here, I'm a fan of not using a lot of overpower on these shots. And I'm going to use definitely a 3 power ball, trying to come out into pretty much where the white line is, and trying to just get out here into my long iron range, somewhere out in this area. Now you can try and hit far enough forward if you're up here where the black line's at, where you're in your short iron range. It just depends on what kind of roll you get there, but you can end up either in your long iron or your short iron range. What I like to do on this green is I like to start back a little bit further. The green, for some reason, the way that this green is sloped, like here's the way that the green looks, pretty over, it's actually more like this. And when the closer you get to the green when you're hitting, the farther your ball's wanting to bounce in the air. So if I move back here farther, the ball's taking a bigger hop forward and not so much a bigger hop up. And so I like to start back just a little bit further. And I'm going to go back, I believe this hole right here was in, let's see which holes this was in. I think the last time I played this hole in a tournament, which is probably the Easter Open tournament, the very last hole, I think this was hole number 18. I think the hole number 18 was I finally got my shot worked out. So if you go, I'll make sure I put the Easter Open, I'll make a note here. Easter Open, hole 18. I'll make sure I put that one in this playlist. All right, so that is the par 5, hole number 6 for the Fuji Open. So hole number 7 is also going to be in Sakura Hills, and it is hole 1. It's a par 3. This is also a hole that's been slightly redesigned. The black line is the only spot. I'm usually in this area down here, a ring to a ring and a half off of the transitional surface. It takes very little adjustment. It used to on this hole. This was a serious hole-in-one hole. I mean, we all loved it when this hole got into a tournament because this was a serious hole to get a hole-in-one, but they redesigned the green here a little bit, and it doesn't lend itself quite as much to making hole-in-one as it used to. But it takes very little adjustment. So anybody out there, no matter what your clubs are, you're going to be able to make this. And really, it's all about just the really small adjustments. You don't have to put a lot of anything on it in order to get it to stop at the hole. This par 3 is definitely going to be one that we'll want to work on as the week goes on, because it's a serious hole-in-one shot. Even with the redesign, it's still a good hole-in-one shot. Okay, hole number 8 of the Fuji Open is going to be back on Kakashi Bay, and it is going to be hole 4, and it's a par 4. Yep, and the black line's the only way going on this one as well. Am I right on this hole? Hold on one second. Let me go look at this hole. All right, sorry about that. That was the wrong one. So the hole number 8 of the Fuji Open is going to be Kakashi Bay, hole number 8. And this hole right here, in tournament play, in one-on-one play, I played this white line quite a few times because of the wind. And so it's not a big deal. But in tournament play, we're not, the white line, if you aren't going for the shot, do the white line. And basically, it's just a layup out here. It's a very easy shot to get up on the green. You're on, and you do have a decent shot from up here on the white line with a wood to try and get that ball in the hole. What you're going to see a lot of people doing is trying to hit pretty much where this dot is, trying to hit up in this area and trying to actually get past the rough and end up right there. That's the goal. So the closer you can end up here, the better, because now, once again, if you watch my videos, we're always trying to get into our short iron range. So this is the spot up here that we want to get. We want to get in the short. Anywhere you're out here, if you can clear and get into the fairway, you're going to have a great shot. But the goal is to come in this area and end up right out in this landing zone so that you've got a short iron coming in. You may, depending on your clubs, you may have to use a 4-power ball, and depending on the wind that we're going to get. Usually they give us wind here that will help promote this shot. So they'll either give us some type of side forward moving wind one way or the other, or they'll give us a true tailwind. I don't know that I've ever seen us play this hole. We used to play this hole in the first year and a half of the game. This hole was in several tournaments, but it's been a long time since these holes were in a tournament. So it's been in 3. Those were all that pretty close there within a year. But it hasn't been in a tournament in a long time. And unfortunately, I don't have this one recorded. This is an awesome hole, though. And the deal is that if you try this shot and you miss it and you end up out here in the rough, if you've got well-developed, if you've got a Nirvana and a Spitfire, you can easily get on. So there's not a lot of risk. The only risk is landing up in this water and getting out of bounds. But most people are going to be trying to get way up here to use their short iron. So we may have to pull out a bigger ball in order to get that done. Hole number 9 of the Fuji Open is going to be in Sakura Hills. It's going to be hole number 9, and it's a par 5. All right, this hole right here. In rookie, if you're in the higher divisions, if you're playing in Master, they're going to play from, you're going to see a lot of the Masters players play from, let's see if they've got that on there. You're going to see a lot of the Masters players playing the white line. The white line's a pretty nice, from that angle back there, it's much easier to get on this straight line to get out here in front than it is to try and work your way around with the black. So you're going to see a lot of the Masters players playing from white, but pretty much everybody else down the black line is going to be a preferred line. It does not take much to get around these trees. You do not have to you don't have to do a lot of overpower in order to get here. I see a lot of people on this hole that are trying to get, for whatever reason, they're trying to come at it from this direction. I've never seen people be real successful trying to come at it from this direction. And the green doesn't have a big backboard on it for us to try and get out here and then come straight in at it and try and backspin it to the hole. You'll get on the green, but you tend to be a ways away. This hole will make you do some long putts. Most people are going to try and lay up out here somewhere along this line in this area and do this spot where they're bringing it back over to the hole. They're bouncing it onto the island and then bringing it back over to the hole. It's a very tricky shot. It's best served when you're doing this second shot, that in your bag This is more than likely going to be, if you're out in here, it's going to be a wood. If you right up against it, you may get into your long iron range. So you definitely want to bring a long iron and a wood that have great ball guide. If you're doing this shot right here where you're trying to bounce over this river and get up on the green, that ball guide's going to serve you very well. You don't need a lot of stuff to be able to get it to stop up on the green if you're doing this shot. So even if you've got some lower developed clubs, you'll probably have enough to get this done. Just bring whichever clubs you have that have the best ball guide. It's a very difficult hole to get an albatross on. Very difficult. But I will tell you that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to end up getting pars on this or birdies on this hole because they're going to fail either up here in the front. They're going to try and overpower this and end up getting caught up here, or when they do this shot right here, there is a spot here. Some people try and do a rough bump right in this spot, and I am not a fan of that at all. I see a lot of people end up in the sand down here. I'm not really a big fan of this rough bump. I would rather just come over and take my chances of getting Albie from here, get on the green, make my eagle putt, and be done. It's not a very high percentage albatross hole. We can set ourselves up so that we give ourselves a really good look at it, but remember, it's not a high percentage. So if you're starting to take really risky shots like doing these types of rough bumps, you got a very, very small little landing area down here. You could end up in a little bit of trouble, and you never want to end up in that kind of trouble on hole 9, hole 18. So let me go back through here real quick. This hole right here is definitely, hole number 9 is definitely a 2-hole. You know, we're going to get eagle on this hole is pretty much what we're looking for. Gokasha Bay, hole 8. This hole right here is a par 4, and it is definitely a birdie hole. We have a serious chance at, we can set ourselves up for a good chance for eagle here, but it is a birdie hole. Hole number 7 is Sakura Hills, hole 1, par 3. This is a birdie hole. Sakura Hills, hole 6. This is hole 6 of the Fuji Cup. This is definitely a birdie hole. Hole 5 of the Fuji Cup is Gokasha Bay, hole 5. Par 3, this is definitely a birdie hole. Hole number 4 of the Fuji Cup is Gokasha Bay, hole 1. Par 4. This is definitely a birdie hole. Hole number 3 of the Fuji Cup is hole number 3. No, I got that wrong. It is. Hole number 3 is hole number 6. Sorry about that. I don't know why they don't just give us a proper list. Okay, once again, this is a eagle hole. And hole number 2 is Sakura Hills. That is hole number 7. This is definitely a birdie hole. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So minus 12 is the minimum score we're looking for. That's just a clean round. And we have a lot of shots that we can pick up, or that we have opportunities to pick up. All 3 of the par 4s are very difficult. They're not like in the last tournament where you can, this hole right here, as sad as it may sound, may be one of your best chances on a par 4, but they're very tough. So we're looking at minus 12 as the minimum score that we're looking for, just a nice clean round, and then we'll go from there. And we'll tighten that number up as the week goes on. All right, that was just kind of a walkthrough of some of the holes that are all of the holes that are going to be in the Fuji Cup tournament starting next Monday. Thanks for watching.